Yeah, when do we use IDs and when do we use classes? Sorry? Sorry for what? You don't remember? Okay, fine. So remember this now. Classes are mostly used with CSS because styling can be for multiple classes or for multiple nodes, let's say boxes. Let's talk in CSS context. Okay, so classes are used with CSS and ID is used with JavaScript. I mean, you can use it too. You can use vice versa too. Like, people sometimes use classes with JavaScript and IDs with CSS, vice versa too. So, but majority is that classes are majorly used for CSS. Now, in JavaScript, if you have to manipulate multiple nodes, then use classes. Okay, in CSS it does not make sense to use only one ID to style. You can just remember these are bullet points wherein you use classes and IDs. Okay, and the naming convention for me, I'll use IDs with camel, and for classes, if they are separate words, I mean different words, I use a hyphen in between the words. Okay, this is my convention. It does not mean that you have to follow this convention too, but it's better if you follow this convention. It's understandable for the coming developers, who just take over your code in case you are working for someone. Okay, so now these are the methods, and okay, here gets me that form. Okay, and this we won't be discussing the forms here. We will be discussing forms once. Or repeat what? Repeat which part? Okay, I'll give an example too here. See, when I use classes, when I use classes with two different words, like say first div. Okay, so what I do, this is my convention. Example, okay, for class equal to, I'll say my name. If I want to use that for ID, I'll say ID equal to, this is what I do. These are my conventions or standards. Okay, this is what I follow. So it doesn't mean that you have to follow that. You can follow your company standards, whatever your whichever company you're coding in. Alright, questions? Now, great. So these are the methods in our document object model. Alright, now we have properties. So as I said, properties and objects, methods must be used together. Okay, so a method, object will get me, method itself. An object will get me a node. If I have to manipulate it, I need property. Okay, so now let's call element equal to document dot get element by whatever. Let's say method last part. Alright, then an argument, then an index, optional. If I use this caret symbols, it means optional. So now this gets me a node. Now element is that node. Now if I have to change anything, if I want to change my content, it's element dot inner HTML. Get the content of that node. Okay. And element dot inner HTML equal to some text. This means set the content of that node. Okay, right? You got it? Any question here? So that node, we'll get the node using the method to set it value or to get its value. We need the properties, and the first property is inner HTML. Any question here? Great. So inner HTML is done, and let's jump into our attributes. So the next property here we got is attributes. Okay, now as I told you, what are attributes for an anchor tag? Anchor tag, href is an attribute, right? Class is an attribute too. ID is an attribute too. Target is an attribute too. Name is an attribute. And what else we got? ID, target, name, title, etc. For a form, alt, yeah. For a form element, let's say input tag, input, type equal to something, let's say I write X, and name equal to, ID equal to, class equal to, value equal to, placeholder equal to, and what else? We have n number of attributes. What are all attributes for the input tag here? Tell me, listen, fast. What are the attributes here? Perfect. What are the attributes here? I'll write from the last. Come on. Exactly. So those are the attributes.